Have you ever wondered what sparked the long-standing Israel-Gaza conflict? To gain, we must travel back in time to the late 19th century when the foundations were laid for this conflict with the inception of the Zionist movement. The mission of this movement was to establish a home for the Jewish people in the region of Israel. This aspiration was powered by historical persecution and profound religious ties to the land, which gave shape to a potent political force. Now, leapfrog to the aftermath of War II. The Jewish people's predicament was now globally recognized, and the Zionist aspiration was nearer to realization. In 1948, the State of Israel was officially declared, marking a significant milestone. However, this was no closure. Instead, it opened up a new chapter teeming with strife. The creation of Israel led to the displacement of a multitude of Palestinians from their homes, an event Palestinians dubbed as Al-Nakba, or the catastrophe, fueling a deep-seated resentment and yearning for homeland. The years after 1948 saw a sequence of wars, escalating the region's tension. From the Suez Crisis in 1956 to the Six-Day War in 1967 and the Yom Kippur War in 1973, the region was a battlefield. Each conflict deepened the divide, making peace a dream. Over time, the conflict evolved with the rise of Palestinian political factions like Hamas and Fatah. The struggle expanded beyond geographical boundaries to include issues of identity, statehood, and national pride. Efforts towards peace, from the Oslo Accords in 1993 to the Camp David Summit in 2000, were made. But lasting peace remains elusive. The formation of Israel in 1948 and the subsequent displacement of Palestinians became the flashpoint for the ongoing conflict. The conflict's roots are profound, entangled through decades of history. Comprehending them is the initial step to understanding the current complexities. As we explore the cycle of war in the next segment, we'll see how historical events continue to shape the present and possibly the future. How often has this region been engulfed in war, you might ask? Well, the cycle of conflict between Israel and Palestine has been tragically recurring, with several major wars punctuating their shared history. The first major conflict was the War of Independence in 1948, right after the United Nations proposed the partition of Palestine into an Arab and a Jewish state. This war was a violent birth pang for the State of Israel, as it fought off neighboring Arab nations who rejected the partition plan. It was a war that set the stage for a series of bitter struggles to come. Then there was the Six-Day War in 1967, a conflict as brief as it was intense. Israel launched a preemptive strike against Egypt, Jordan, and Syria, capturing key territories in just 6 days. This war significantly altered the geographical and political landscape of the Middle East. It left Israel controlling the West Bank, Gaza Strip, Golan Heights, and Sinai Peninsula, setting the stage for future conflicts over these occupied territories. Moving forward to the end of the 20th century, we witnessed the First Intifada in 1987 and the Second Intifada in 2000. The Intifadas, or uprisings, were periods of intensified Palestinian-Israeli violence. The First Intifada was largely a civilian affair, with protests, boycotts, and widespread civil disobedience. The Second Intifada, however, was far deadlier, with suicide bombings and military operations, causing a significant number of casualties on both sides. Each of these wars, each of these uprisings, has left deep and lasting scars. The lands may heal, the buildings may be rebuilt, but the psychological and emotional wounds remain fresh. The cycle of war and peace has been relentless, with each conflict leaving deep scars on both sides. Fast forward to 2023, the conflict takes a new turn with the introduction of artificial intelligence. The Israel-Gaza conflict, already fraught with tension and complexity, now grapples with the advent of AI, adding another layer of unpredictability to an already volatile situation. Israel, a nation with a strong technological base, has begun to incorporate AI into its military strategies. This integration of cutting-edge technology has resulted in an unprecedented level of precision in identifying and neutralizing threats. On one hand, it has the potential to minimize collateral damage and civilian casualties, but on the other, it also raises serious ethical and humanitarian issues. But the role of AI in this conflict is not limited to the battlefield. The technology has also found its way into the realm of information dissemination and public opinion. Platforms like Telegram, known for their lack of content oversight, have become breeding grounds for disinformation. In the digital age, where the lines between fact and fiction are increasingly blurred, AI has played a pivotal role in shaping narratives and influencing public opinion. The tech industry, too, has not remained untouched by the conflict. Companies like NVIDIA, with a significant presence in Israel, have felt the direct impact. The kidnapping of an NVIDIA employee by Hamas, for instance, underscored the human cost of the conflict and led to the cancellation of NVIDIA's AI conference in Tel Aviv. However, the role of AI in this conflict is not just about the present. The use of this technology also has far-reaching implications for the future. The rise of AI chatbots, for instance, while providing quick and easy access to information, has also led to the dissemination of inaccurate and unreliable news. This highlights the need for robust mechanisms to ensure the veracity of information, especially in times of conflict. The integration of AI in warfare has undeniably changed the face of the conflict, raising new ethical and humanitarian questions. As we move forward, it is critical to address these concerns and ensure that technology serves as an instrument of peace rather than a tool of war. Could this localized conflict spill into a larger war for the Middle East and the world, you might ask? Indeed, the potential is there. The Israel-Gaza dispute is not an isolated incident. This tension is deeply rooted in the regional dynamics of the Middle East. Countries such as Iran and Turkey have historically shown support for Palestine, while the United States and many European countries back Israel. The involvement of these nations, directly or indirectly, could escalate this conflict beyond its current borders. For instance, Iran's backing of Hamas could provoke retaliation from other nations, leading to a broader Middle East conflict. The ripple effect of this could potentially disrupt the fragile balance of global peace. The international community's response has been a mix of concern, condemnation, and calls for ceasefire. Yet the effectiveness of these diplomatic efforts remains to be seen. As the conflict continues to evolve, the world watches with bated breath, hoping for a peaceful resolution. It's a tense waiting game, and the stakes couldn't be higher.